Our next question is from an elder. And let me read this to you and to our listeners, and we'll reflect upon an answer here. It's a big one. I am one of 5 elders in our congregation. There is a fellow elder in our number who cannot seem to keep a confidence. I am often hearing of things from church members that we have discussed in our elders meeting, things we had discussed in confidence. And when I ask these members who told them these things, they tell me that one of my fellow elders shared the information with them. We, and I'm talking about me and my fellow elders, seem to be at a loss to know what to do about these situations. Any advice? Wow, that's a big one. It's an important one.
It's an important one, and it is a real problem if there is an elder that cannot keep a confidence. That is a real problem. You know, if he's allowed to continue to share things in public that should be kept in confidence, the trust that the elders must have to do their work will be eroded. So they need to be able to trust each other. They need to be able to feel that they can express themselves in an elders meeting on a confidential matter without it going public. So if they do agree that something must be held in confidence, that it's confidential, it should not get out of that room. Otherwise, the trust that elders have for one another will be destroyed. And we might also add,
trust that the church has for the
trust
elders.
that the church has for the elders will be destroyed as well.
Right, and it's not just going to be that one elder, it will be all of the elders where trust will be eroded.
Yeah.
Because if I were to come to you as an elder and talk with you, and knowing you might share that with the other elders, then it's out. Possibly they'll get outed by the other person. So the whole eldership, it's a character assassination on all of the elders. And I think it's important to say that there is a big difference between confidentiality and secrecy.
Okay.
And we probably don't want to talk about that, but confidentiality is protecting a person over something that's very sensitive that they're needing support with. Secretiveness is self-protective. I think there's a big difference, but we're talking today about confidentiality and how when that gets tanked, it's bad news.
Well, if I'm a member of the church, I need to expect that the elders will keep something in confidence.
Absolutely.
If I share something with one of them, or if I share something with the whole group, I need to expect that they're going to keep it in confidence. Otherwise, I won't trust them, and I won't share things with them that a sheep may need to share with shepherds.
Well, and you won't feel respected either.
Exactly
and
right.
There's some mutual respect that's required in that situation.
You know, I think I know what needs to be done in this particular situation that has been expressed to us. I think the person who probably sent in this question also probably knows what needs to be done. I think the problem probably is that few of us are willing to do what needs to be done in a case like this.
Well, we hardly have a precedent for it, you know.
Well, that's true.
We don't do it very often.
And you know, on this matter, I can speak from personal experience. I remember when I was an elder for a local church, and the elders were discussing a matter that was sensitive. We were trying to decide something, but we were investigating it. We were thinking about it. We were discussing it. We were researching it. We weren't ready to go public with the decision that had been made. And after we discussed it in a meeting, we all agreed that this was to remain in this room until we had further clarity on what needed to be done.
Right.
This has to be kept in confidence. We all agreed to that. A few months later, a man comes to our elders meeting and he says, I understand that a few months ago you were talking about X.
Wow.
And immediately we knew that one of us had spilled the beans. When the man left the meeting, the elder who had told that man what we were discussing fessed up. He confessed. He said, it was me, I'm sorry. And at that point, I remember we did nothing. We did not reprove him, we did not rebuke him, we did not confront him, we did not say anything at all. I think we probably felt like, well, maybe he's learned his lesson. Actually, he didn't learn his lesson. He went out and shared more things in public that he should not have shared. And I don't think we ever really confronted him on that. Our problem was we should have confronted him about that. We should have made that expectation very clear, and we should have been bound by that expectation.
Should have been some accountability somehow in there.
That is the answer, honey. The answer is that elders must hold each other accountable. If they don't hold each other accountable, it probably won't happen. I mean, you can't expect the minister to hold elders accountable. You can't expect church members to hold elders accountable. Sometimes it needs to be done, but you probably shouldn't expect that to happen.
Well, there's a gap in information for that to happen sometimes.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Elders need to hold each other accountable. So I think we would say, first of all, that there needs to be communicated to elders this expectation. You become an elder in this group, there are some things that you won't be able to share with anyone else. There are some things you'll have to keep in confidence. There are some things that will be confidential. You'll have to expect that those things remain in this room, and you can't share them with others. I think if we were to talk about step-by-step things to do, we would say the first step would be to communicate your expectations of confidentiality, and preferably before someone is appointed to be an elder.
Yeah, it reminds me of the handbook Steve Brannon talked about in the podcast where you interviewed him. Steve Brannon is one of the elders at our home congregation right now, and Carrie interviewed him last month, and it was an excellent interview. But they start with the handbook before the men are even put in as elders. There's like a training time, and I'm guessing in that handbook that they're walked through.
Talk about expectations.
There's expectations, and there is accountability requirements in that. That's where it has to be up front, where people know there's consequences for behavior, basically.
Yes.
And that
I think that'd be the first step.
Yeah, people will hold them accountable.
Communicate expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Confidentiality is certainly one expectation. Step number 2, if you have an elder who consistently breaks or violates or breaches trust and violates that confidentiality, then that elder must be confronted by the elders. Talk with that elder. And by the way, I would recommend that you not go one-to-one to that elder and talk to that elder alone. I would recommend you talk to that elder in the presence of the other elders.
Well, and
make the eldership discuss it.
Absolutely.
With the man.
Honey, wouldn't you say that a person that can't hold a confidence, it's not just about having loose lips necessarily. It can be, but often that's an indication of a more significant character problem. A person who wants to be, to a lot of people, information is power.
Sure.
You walk into a situation and you can announce something confidential, and you're the only one that knows. You look like you're on the in crowd. You look like you have this authoritative position, that you are in this respectful position where you will know more. I mean, to me, that is an indication of a bigger character issue that also needs to be discussed and recognized.
Yeah.
It's not just about someone that's got loose lips. Usually there's a bigger deal behind that. That is more
someone
damaging.
Who wants to impress another.
Yes.
Someone who wants to be popular. Someone who wants to appear to be in the know. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, that's damaging, and it'll come out in other ways as well.
And that spirit, step 2, needs to be confronted.
Yes.
That spirit needs to be confronted. Finally, step 3, if none of your efforts work to keep this elder from sharing in public what should be kept in private, then that elder needs to be excused from his role.
Mm-hmm.
And the other elders need to insist on that.
And I think it's also important to mention in this training period with elders who are considering becoming an elder, people will want to know what elders talk about. People in the church often have this need to be in the know, and they will tempt you to share information, and people need to be ready and know that that's going to happen. I remember when we were in full-time ministry, there was one particular church where we worked. There was a woman that called me the next morning after every elders meeting. She assumed that you knew things that you told me and that I would just willingly share with her. And it took a couple of times for me to say, I think that's a question for the elders. You might want to talk with them about that. A couple of those in the phone calls ceased. And I say that because we were in a new place. I was trying to make friends, and that was a challenging situation where they were asking me information that a couple of times I knew what was going on. It was something that we were involved in, so that I knew. Most of the time I didn't know what you talked about, but that can be, and I think that just needs to be made clear that there will be temptations to share information that is confidential, and the needs of the other person must always be put before your needs of looking important or to be liked.
Exactly. Well, we hope that helps. That's a difficult situation to be in. We hope that helps. If we can offer any other advice on that subject, don't hesitate to contact us.
But we would say that you're on the right track. This is a major issue because trust is essential for church
Absolutely.
leaders.
Absolutely.